Meghan Markle has denied wanting a letter she wrote for her father to be leaked, but admitted it was a possibility her words would be shared. In her written evidence to the Court of Appeal, published today, Meghan denied she thought it likely that Thomas Markle would leak the document, but had prepared for the possibility. She said, "To be clear, I did not want any of it to be published." She said she sent the letter because she wanted public attacks to stop because they were putting pressure on her husband and the royal family. In her statement she wrote, "Senior members of the family and their advisors expressed their concern over the public attacks, and expressed their desire to have them stopped. I was especially sensitive to this as I had very recently married into the family and was eager to please them. It is correct that, as I said in my texts to Mr. Narf, the situation was putting significant pressure on my husband, both externally and by his family, and I felt strongly that I needed to do something about it. I felt that, even if my attempt to stop my father talking to the media failed, at least my husband would be able to say to his family that I had done everything I could to stop it." During the privacy trial with the publisher of the Mail on Sunday and Mail Online, Meghan apologized to the Court of Appeal for failing to disclose discussions helping Jason Narf to brief the authors of Finding Freedom. In her latest witness statement, published today, the Duchess of Sussex insisted she couldn't remember the emails, or find them during her own searches. The signed document also claims Mr. Narf's emails actually help her case. She wrote, "I did not have the benefit of seeing these emails and I apologize to the court for the fact that I had not remembered these exchanges at the time. I had absolutely no wish or intention to mislead the defendant or the court. In fact, had I been aware of these exchanges at the time of serving the re-amended reply, I would have been more than happy to refer to them as I feel they strongly support my case." She added, "Not only do I refer to the background information shared with Mr. Narf as reminders, as much of it was information that he had already requested of me dating back to 2016 when he had asked me for a timeline relating to my family to enable him to engage with the media on inquiries. It is also a far cry from the very detailed personal information that the defendant alleges that I wanted or permitted to put into the public domain." In her written statement, the Duchess of Sussex also insisted she did not think her estranged father would leak a handwritten letter from her because it would not put him in a good light. In her written evidence to the Court of Appeal, Meghan denied she thought it likely that Thomas Markle would leak the document, but had prepared for the possibility. She said, "While we had to recognize that anything was possible in the extraordinary circumstances in which we were living and therefore the need to mitigate against the risks of disclosure of the letter's contents, I did not think that my father would sell or leak the letter, primarily because it would not put him in a good light." She later added, "I had not heard from him since the week leading up to our wedding, but it seemed incredibly unlikely that he would disclose the contents because they contained unpalatable truths and would thereby negate the falsehoods the media had attributed to him." The main purpose of the letter was to encourage my father to stop talking to the press. To be clear, I did not want any of it to be published, and wanted to ensure that the risk of it being manipulated or misleadingly edited was minimized, were it to be exploited. Mr. Narf was communications secretary to both the Cambridges and Sussexes at Kensington Palace when the letter was sent in 2018. He is now head of the Royal Foundation, the Cambridge's main charitable organisation, but is set to leave this post at the end of the year. The Court of Appeal is being urged to overturn Mr. Justice Warby's summary judgment and send the case to a full trial, at which the Duchess would be expected to be cross-examined. Meghan's legal team is opposing the appeal and argues that the High Court judge reached the right conclusions on the evidence before him. It also objects to the introduction of Mr. Narf's new evidence and says that, if the court accepts his statement, Meghan will also wish to put forward new evidence. She has produced a 23-page statement. The court heard. Her lawyers said her letter to Mr. Markle had been self-evidently intended to be kept private, and that Mr. Justice Warby had meticulously assessed the factors and was fully entitled to reach the conclusions that he did.